All right, back again for another deep dive. And this time we're looking at Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, things are really interesting. We've got a bunch of articles here, recent stuff. And it seems like Notorious has been keeping himself pretty busy, even when he's not actually,
Yeah.
throwing punches in the octagon.
Yeah, he's been making headlines.
Making headlines, yeah.
For sure.
So let's start with this whole BKFC Knucklemania V thing.
Okay.
Now, I remember that viral moment he had with Jeremy Stevens a while back.
Yeah.
And they were both at this event.
Right.
But what I find really interesting is that McGregor actually owns part of the organization.
He does, yeah.
What's that all about? What's his strategy here?
Well, I think it really shows how sharp he is as a businessman.
Okay.
Bare-knuckle fighting, it's raw. It's getting more and more popular.
It definitely got that, like...
And it just fits.
Yes, right.
Yeah, it fits right in with his notorious persona, So it's not just about the money. It's a smart move to stay in the game even while he's recovering.
I see. So he's staying relevant.
Exactly.
Even though he's not actually fighting.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of staying in the game, there was that whole thing with the Logan Paul fight.
Right.
That was going to be a huge exhibition match in India.
I did in India.
A new market. Tons of money to be made.
Huge potential.
McGregor even said it was a business-savvy move.
He did. He did.
But then the UFC just shuts it down.
They did, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, it is interesting, especially with all that money on the line.
Right.
Maybe they're not so keen on McGregor, boosting celebrity boxing while he's still under contract with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they have their own fighters to promote.
Right, right.
And they want McGregor focused on their main events.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got investing in bare-knuckle, this planned boxing match falls through.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, he shows up at the U.S. presidential inauguration.
Right.
And guess what?
What?
He ends up on the same bus as Logan and Jake Paul.
No way.
Yeah. What's he doing at a political event like that? He hasn't really talked about politics much before.
It is a bit of a mystery, isn't it?
It is.
Maybe he's looking at new opportunities.
Okay,
maybe even some political connections for his brand.
Interesting.
Or maybe he just loves being in the spotlight. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
But that bus thing with the Paul brothers?
Yeah.
That's got to be just a coincidence.
It's crazy.
But the timing, it's pretty wild, especially with Jake Paul doing so well lately.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just beat Mike Tyson.
On Netflix.
Yeah, on Netflix. And she's been calling out McGregor forever.
Yeah, he has.
Do you think that fight will ever happen?
It would be huge.
It would be massive.
But there are a lot of things in the way,
Like what?
Contracts, different organizations. It's complicated.
Right.
But you got to admit, Jake Paul's changing things up. He's bringing in a whole new audience.
Yeah.
And a fight with McGregor, that would be on another level.
It would be a spectacle.
Absolutely.
And speaking of spectacles,
yeah,
McGregor's also said he's interested in bare-knuckle fighting.
he has, yeah.
Could we actually see him in the BKFC ring?
I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
He's always pushing the limits.
Right.
And bare-knuckle, that would definitely be a new challenge.
It would.
But we got to remember, he's coming back from a serious injury.
Oh, yeah, that broken leg.
Right, and there's that lawsuit going on, too.
True, true.
So?
And his comeback fight against Michael Chandler, that got canceled.
It did.
So where does all this leave him with the UFC? What do you think his future in MMA looks like?
It's hard to say. It's complicated.
Yeah.
He's definitely got some obstacles in his way.
He does.
But Conor McGregor, he's always defied expectations.
He has.
He's reinvented himself before, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again.
So we've got canceled fights, surprise appearances, and a whole lot of questions about what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
It's clear that he's not just a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He's a businessman, a showman. He knows how to get people talking.
He does.
So for everyone listening, here's something to think about.
Okay.
After everything we've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
do you think Conor McGregor will ever go back to the UFC?
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, what kind of legacy will he leave behind?
That's a good question.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you next time
Sounds good.
for another deep dive.